Let's try this again. The Facebook Live app crashed when I was trying this, so let's do it again. Brian King here again. One of my Facebook friends presented this question to me, and I could have sworn I did this in another video, and I can't find it. So if I've already recorded it, here it is again. The question was, how do you handle a kid that swears whenever anything goes wrong? You know, they spill a glass of milk, they lose in a game, so on. My recommendation in situations like that is to use the Plan B system. But the problem with the Plan B system is that people tend to use it reactively. They have a plan at the outset, they go into it, something unexpected occurs, and they say, oops, we need a Plan B. Well, if you're spontaneous and flexible, that works beautifully. But for our kiddos that tend to lack that mental flexibility, that tend to have black and white thinking, it's either win or lose. And if it goes other than plan, it's a failure, it's bad, it's awful, I hate it. So that's something they're going to avoid. They're not going to tend to really respond to that well. So we need to help shift their paradigm so that they can understand that things can go other than planned and still be a good thing. And this is how you do it. First, we need to change our languaging of it. The belief we need to instill in our kids is this: things in life go one of two ways. They go the way that it's planned, or they go different. They don't go bad, they don't go wrong, they don't go awful, they just go different. Different is a very neutral term. It is not emotionally charged, and it's much easier for them to incorporate into their thinking. And we can prepare for this at the outset. So you're planning on going on a trip, you're going to the grocery store, you're going to grandma's house, wherever you're going. You can say, okay, let's talk about our plan, kiddos. This is our plan for how we're going to do things. Step 1, step 2, step 3. But it might also go different. Something might happen that we didn't count on or that we didn't plan. But here's the cool thing. Since we're already planning on the fact that it may go different, if it does go different, then it's exactly what we expected. And this is why that's important. Because kids getting angry when they lose a game or spill milk or something, it's because their expectations weren't met. That's not the way things were supposed to go. I was supposed to win the game. My milk isn't supposed to spill. You know, my sister isn't supposed to come in my room when I'm reading a book or playing a video game. You're not supposed to interrupt me when I'm hyper-focused on my video game. You didn't do what you were supposed to. My expectations were not met. So, let's set their expectations ahead of time. The expectations are, it'll go the way we planned, or it will go different. Now, if it does go different, and it often does in life, how are we going to respond to it? Now they get to choose their response. Be proactive. Isn't that innovative? So we can respond this way, and you model it for your kids. Ask them first how they think they might respond. Maybe they'll say, oh, I'll get mad, I won't like it. You can say, that's absolutely a response that you can go with. Is it okay if I recommend another response? Sure, go ahead. Well, the response that I would recommend is, wow, exactly as we expected. Isn't it great how that worked out? We knew exactly what was going to happen. It was either going to go the way we planned it, or it was going to go different. And it went different, just as we expected. Now what do we do with something that's different? Well, we do now what we did at the beginning. We create a plan for how we're going to approach things now. So everything is not only as expected, but it also has that element of validation. I was correct. My expectations were met. And there's also that element of discovery. Like, wow, man, that went different. I didn't see that coming at all. Isn't that pretty interesting? Man, I'm so glad we know this now because we can plan for it in the future. But for now, what are we going to do next to make this our new plan? So getting that emotional reactivity out of the conversation is really, really key, because that's what our kids do. They react. They are blaming the event for how they feel. And that's Penny, if you can hear her having a PTSD moment. That's another story in itself. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of how you do the plan B. Because a kid swearing is just them saying, I am upset, I'm angry because this didn't go according to my plan. My expectations as to how this was supposed to go didn't pan out. So when you sit down to play a game, when you sit down to eat dinner, wherever you see your child frequently bumping up against these frustrating moments where things go different, that's where you want to start. Give your child as much opportunity as possible to practice this and reinforce it so that it becomes their paradigm. It becomes the way they look at things. I mean, it's so fun now with my boys because I've been doing this with them for years. We were going to plan for the pool, and all of a sudden one of the kids gets sick. And I say, okay, this is our plan. We're going to have fun. We're going to go swimming. But just keep in mind, it may go different. And if it does, we'll come up with a new plan. So the moment something does go different, I just say, aha, there it is, just as expected. It went different. Let's come up with a new plan. And it's amazing how smoothly they transition into that because of how I've addressed their beliefs, their expectations, and taught them how to kind of roll with it a little bit by knowing that life can be a little creative and spontaneous like that, as opposed to the typical approach of simply addressing their behavior. Just addressing their behavior is not enough. That's like there's a fire burning and you want to put all of your water on the smoke instead of the fire. Treating behavior alone is treating the symptom, not the cause. A lot of our kiddos are dealing with very limiting beliefs or executive functioning issues that make it difficult for them to internalize the behavioral skills you're trying to teach them. So until you support their executive functions and identify their core beliefs, you are in for a fight to get them to make a shift. So hopefully this has been helpful. If so, feel free to make a comment on what exactly has been helpful for you. And you can always message me and ask me specific questions so that we can custom fit this to your situation. And if you know anybody that can benefit from this, feel free to share and pass it on. This has been Brian King. We'll talk again soon.